Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Medicom toy Mafex number 188. This is the reissue of the Batman. This is the Robert Pattinson, or Robert Pattinson, if you will. This is a reissue. So big shout out and thank you to Big Bad Toy Store for getting this out my way so I could review for you guys and check it out. Mafex is really growing on me at this point. I'm getting like all Mafex releases for DC and Marvel stuff. I think eventually I may venture out into the other movie things that they do. Like, I think they've got some Terminator stuff. They've got some John Wick stuff and things like that. I'm primarily focused on Marvel and DC. So the Batman got a reissue. So I'm like, you know what? Let me check out this Batman. I've heard good things about this where I haven't quite heard good things about like McFarlane Toys or what was the other one? Like the Mezco. The Mafex one must be good enough for it to have warranted a reissue. So let's check it out. I'm pretty excited. We got this kind of all black. And then you get the red lettering for the Batman in Mafex in there. You get a look at the figure there, and we get the Robert Pattinson Bruce Wayne head sculpt in there. We get another one where he like just took the cowl off because he still has the eyeshadow around his eyes. So we got a bunch of stuff going on there. He is packed out with stuff. I mean, just look at all the different things that he comes with. We got 4 head sculpts in total. So a lot of stuff going on. So I'm excited to take a look at this. I do have one other movie Batman figure, and that is the Zack Snyder's Justice League Ben Affleck Batman. So I will do a comparison with this guy. And then for the fun of it, we will take a look at the InArt 1/12 scale, the Dark Knight Christian Bale Batman to see how these compare to the Mezco. So let's go ahead and check it out. Let's start with Batman. Let's open him up. Yeah, Batman is super packed out. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 extra sets of hands. He's got the grapple gun. He's got the gun pieces, I guess, that create the Bat logo on his chest. And then he's got the, I assume is the grapple gun in the holster that will attach to the figure there. Of course, every Mafex figure comes with a flight stand. And then we have the figure with the 4 head sculpts. And then some of these additional pieces here. I don't know what that is. Is that a flare? I got to look at that. We get a swappable chest piece. And then he's got a cowl, which is cool because you got the unmasked head sculpts, and then there's that removable Bat logo. So I don't know if that's, I guess that's the Batarang. I don't remember it from the movie. Just a heads up. I know a lot of people say this was a masterpiece. I was not the biggest fan of the Batman. I thought it was a good, solid movie. Also one that could be very boring at times. It was very long, and I just haven't watched it again. I haven't found a need to watch it again. I don't think I could bring myself to watch it again. It is not a bad film. It's just not my favorite Batman movie. I love the Batmobile in it. I thought the scene where he's chasing Penguin was great. The Penguin show on HBO Max was amazing. It's just, again, the movie, the Batman, I just wasn't a huge fan of it. Again, not a bad movie. I was just not a fan and do not consider it a masterpiece. Hopefully, the figure is a masterpiece. Okay, so here is the Batman figure out of the package, and you know what? I kind of like it. I kind of dig it. Way more than I dug the movie, that's for sure. He's really cool. He comes packed with a bunch of stuff, but he looks great. So let's get right into it and take a close look at it. Head sculpt wise, it looks pretty good. He's got that 5'10" head going on because he's got a huge old dome, and that's not a knock at Robert Pattinson. That is a knock at the design of the cowl, which in my opinion just enlarged his head a little too much. It looks kind of funky. Like if you just look at the cowl, I mean, just look at how big they make that big old head. And I don't know if it's because they put the bat ears towards the back. It just looks like his head is just too big. That was one criticism I have. I might be in the minority of that, but you know what? It just looks really big to me. It's kind of funky, kind of weird. But we have that head sculpt. We also get an angry head sculpt. Ooh, I just pulled off the whole neck. I didn't want to pull off the whole neck. So let's put that neck right back on there. And let's get the angry Batman head sculpt in there. And then you can see we've got an angry Batman, and that looks okay. The mouth looks kind of small. It looks a little weird. Not the best in my opinion, so let's go ahead and pull that off. Yeah, we'll take the whole neck off because if you look here, we've got the exposed Bruce Wayne there. And I think that does look like Robert Pattinson. It's not perfect, but I definitely see the likeness in there. And so that is pretty good. We also get the Bruce Wayne with the eyeshadow still on because again he has to wear the eyeshadow to go around his eyes when he's wearing the cowl, otherwise you know you could see his eyes a little too much. This one looks pretty good. I got no issues there either. This is, you know, very emo looking Bruce Wayne, but it's accurate and that looks really good, so no complaints there. go ahead and pop that off. Let's get this Batman head back on there, but I don't like this one, so let's get the other one on there. Oh, I had the neck turned around when I had put it back on too. Oops, my bad. Alright, so let's keep that Batman head on there because I think this one, you know, just looks the best. Looking at the accessories, we get a bunch of accessories. I already swapped out the holster. This is the one where the grapple gun is already in the holster. We do get an empty holster, which would make sense because if he is holding the grapple gun that he comes with, the holster would be empty. So we get those pieces in there. The grappling hook, excuse me, focus, is removable, so you can, you know, have it in the grapple gun, and then you can have the grappling hook outside. We get a swappable chest piece for the batarang. So that center piece in his chest that makes the bat is his batarang. So you could pop this chest piece off. After a little bit of work, you can get that chest piece off, and then you can add this empty chest piece there, and then you have the batarang itself. So we get those accessories. So that is pretty cool. He would remove the bat logo, and that becomes his batarang there, which is really cool. I am going to swap this back because I think looking at the rest of the review with an empty bat logo chest would be weird. So to switch them back and forth, they just peg onto the figure, and it holds pretty tight. So no issues there. My holster had come off. I'm not going to worry about putting it back on. One thing that is odd, and I don't quite understand what this was, you guys will have to let me know because I probably just don't remember from the movie because, again, I'm a hater and didn't like the movie as much as other people. So he's got this mechanism in his forearm in there. We get swappable forearms. Looks like this one would be the one. And I don't know what it is. So this, whatever this piece is, we get these pieces that he would then hold on to in his hand, and I don't exactly know what these are. You guys let me know in the comments below if you guys can help me out. Swappable forearm piece, and then the hand, he would hold this piece because that somehow comes out of there, and then he would hold on to it in his hand. But I don't actually know what it is. Let me know if you guys know, because I truthfully, honestly don't know. This is a flare that he comes with. I think the flare was at the end scene in the flooded arena is likely what I'm thinking there. Also, that other piece there, we'd get a right and left for those forearm swappable pieces. And then hands galore. He's got fists out of the package, and then he's got these fists with his thumb out. This might be to hold the batarang, I'm assuming. And then you got these grip hands here with his thumbs out, which I think is, you know, when he's gripping these pieces here, I think it's like this. He would grip that. So again, I don't know what those are. Here's a little bit of a more wide grip on those hands, and I'm assuming no, not the grapple gun. It's just a different, wider grip hand. And then here's the trigger finger hand for the grappling gun. Oh wait, here's a wider trigger finger hand for the grappling gun. I don't know what all these hands are for. Like, if you look, these are both trigger finger hands. But one's a wider trigger hand. Like, he's only got the one. I don't know. I think there's too many hands. He doesn't need all these hands. We got a couple of different open hands here. We get a pair of wide open hands here, and then these, I would say, are a little more these two are a little bit more relaxed, but not quite grip, kind of. So a bunch of hands, 8 extra sets of hands. I'm good with the fists on there. So that is the Batman. Whole lot going on with it. But the figure itself looks really good. Like, looking at his utility belt, he's got all kinds of stuff going on there. And it's all sculpted quite nicely in there. Looks really good. So a bunch of crazy stuff going on. He's got like this, you know, gray color to it. And I think like the Mezco did a very light gray and did some weird things. You know, he does have some yellow in some areas that glare on his legs and his arms. Those don't bother me. The cape looks really good. It has this nice shiny material. It's pretty large, but it's not so big that it goes down to the floor or anything. So I really like the cape. It's got the bendy wire here on the outside, so you can kind of form the cape around, depending on what you want to do, which is really cool. Like, it could be blowing in the wind, all kinds of good stuff. But yeah, sculpt wise, the Batman looks really good. Now let's go ahead and check out his articulation. Okay, so the Batman, he can look up that much there, which is good. He can look all the way down, which is great, and you can get some good pivot in there, and you could do the side to side, so he can look all around as needed. That shoulder pad can kind of open up a little bit if you need to, but you can get the arm to go straight on out, which is great. You get a full rotation in there. You got that butterfly, which will actually allow you get his arm to go back a little bit, but it does look a little bit funky because you have to pull it out, which is not something I typically see with Mafex, where it just kind of pulls straight out. So it's actually a bit odd. But looking at that there, it allows for some good crossbody, which is great. And again, and you could shift down a little bit and not so much up. So the definitely a different shoulder joint than we are typically used to. You got an upper bicep swivel in there. Double jointed elbow gives you that much bend, which is nice. The wrists are on a ball peg and hinge, so you can hinge around and swivel any which way you need. We got diaphragm cut and ball joint in the waist, so total you can get the Batman to tilt to his left that much there. You can get the Batman to tilt to his right that much there, which is good. You can get him to lean back only a little bit, which doesn't really bother me, and then coming forward you can lean forward that much there. You get a swivel at that diaphragm, and you can also swivel at the ball joint waist. Whoops, ball peg on that leg, by the way. So I try to do drop down hips. So the drop down hips are only a little bit, but they do come down a little bit, but there's not a whole lot in there, to be completely honest with you guys. And that's odd design, how that works with this upper leg and this lower leg. Very weird looking. So you only get the legs to go out that far apart. So that's a little disappointing. You can't kick forward very high, which is good. And then the leg goes back quite a ways. So that is good. You get this thigh turn in there. Where this connects with the ball joint. So again, that was a bit odd. You get these huge knees. The knees look huge on this guy. And you get a decent bend, but it's not as round as typically we would see with Mafex. So I think, I don't know, just movie figure design-wise, it's the choice that they had to make. I think it's a little ugly. So it's kind of unfortunate how those kind of ended up looking. No boot swivel of any kind, but you do get an ankle swivel, which is good. You can hinge down only a little bit. You can hinge up only a little bit. You do get a nice ankle pivot in there, and you have toe articulation in there. His feet do seem a bit small, if you ask me. He's got these big boots, or what should be big boots, but the feet are just kind of small, in my opinion. So there is the Mafex, or Mafex the Batman. And pretty good. Different articulation than we're used to, because, man, pulling that arm out is just weird to me. But, hey, not bad. Not bad. Oh, I wonder if these pieces, if you have holding on and he's supposed to, like, attach to glide through, I bet that's what it is. I'm going to have to try that out. Honestly, I have no idea. Like, promo images show him going like this with this hand. Like, that's not a grapple gun. I don't know what that is. So I was thinking, like, oh, if he's doing the cape and he's trying to glide, maybe the idea is that he's using that. And I guess it could be whatever you want it to be, but I just don't know what it officially is. Like, Big Bad Toy Store has a listing of what the accessories are, and it doesn't list these. It doesn't list the replacement forearm piece. Like, I just don't know what they are. So you guys help me out. Let me know what they are. Sorry, I'm failing you guys here, but I'm honestly just confused. Okay, and here is the Batman holding the grapple gun. So we do have the trigger finger hands. The wide ones were for those pieces that I don't know about, and then the smaller trigger finger hand is clearly for the grapple gun. Okay, and here he is with the Batarang. And one thing about the Batarang that I'm not the biggest fan of, he almost has to hold it. I was kind of able to get it. I guess that's not so bad, but like at the tip where you would think he would hold it, it just won't sit. Oh, wait, I got it then. Maybe that's okay. Well, I guess I was gonna complain for no real reason. I guess I just didn't quite position it well, because I think to get a good throw, he would hold it that way, right? At first, between his finger and his thumb, I was like having to do it like almost like in the middle, and I thought that would kind of look a little bit weird. But yeah, there we go. And then I like the idea of having the empty cowl in there, so you can kind of, Batman, he's either changing or he rips it off or whatever the case may be. He has it, and then, you just kind of give it that unmasked look. I think that's something typically, with movies and things like that. It's good. And again, the Robert Pattinson, likeness is pretty good. Okay, and Mafex to Mafex, here we have the Ben Affleck. This is the Zack Snyder's Justice League Batman. I like this Batman more because there's a couple of reasons for that. I think it is a better figure because it just looks a little bit better. The thigh cut on this Batman is a little bit odd, although the execution on this one on the torso is better because this one does a lot of rubbing up against each other, which kind of scrapes it, so that's kind of sucky, whereas this one just moves a little bit nicer. I like the Ben Affleck Batman better. So there is that. I like the cape on the Batman better because it's not quite as long. I think the longer capes when it drags on the floor is just kind of a pain when it's not as long. I kind of like that. But depending on who your favorite Batman is, could sway your thing. Again, Ben Affleck Batman is my favorite theatrical Batman. I just think he did really good. He just didn't have the best movies to go along with it, but I really liked his portrayal of Bruce Wayne and Batman. Robert Pattinson did an okay job. I think he was a better Batman than he was Bruce Wayne, but that's just to each their own on what their personal preference is. But you guys let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of this Batman? What do you think of this one? How do you think the two compared? If we're looking at other theatrical Batmans, while Mafex did make a Dark Knight Christian Bale Batman, that is not something that I have in my collection, as those are much older. Maybe if they reissue, I would definitely get in on it. But we have the InArt 1/12 scale Batman, and you can see that he doesn't quite measure up, although Christian Bale is probably, I want to say he's shorter than the other two guys. I don't know that he would be that shorter, just bulkiness. He's definitely smaller than like Ben Affleck's, but he fits in pretty well, and that is a phenomenal figure. I wish it was sold in the U.S. Through like Big Bad Toy Store. Unfortunately, licensing, they can't sell it in the U.S., but you have different theatrical Batmans. You guys let me know which one is your favorite. Ben Affleck's mine. Christian Bale, I know, is a lot of folks, but people really enjoyed and call the Batman, the Robert Pattinson version, Matt Reeves Batman, a masterpiece. And while I don't really agree with that, I know a lot of people do. You guys let me know. Was the Batman a masterpiece? Do you think this figure is a masterpiece? I think he's definitely the Batman figure that we have out there. I think SH Figure Arts made one. I don't have that. I'd have to look at see if Big Bad Toy Store has it available. If they do, you guys, if there's enough interest and want to see a comparison, I'd be happy to pick it up. But you guys let me know what you guys think of this Mafex, the Batman figure, down in the comments below. Again, it is a reissue, so it sold out and wasn't available for a time period, and then the demand must have been there. So I think Big Bad Toy Store has like less than 20 in stock right now. I don't know what the exact number is. So if you're looking to pick them up, now is the chance. Link in the video description below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and as always, thank you for watching.